Opposition leader Susan Lee has requested a formal investigation into Senator Lydia Thorpe's threat to burn down Parliament House. Here's a reminder of what Lydia Thorpe said at the weekend.
So we stand with you every day, and we will fight every day, and we will turn up every day. And if I have to burn down Parliament House to make a point, and I am there to free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Susan Lee has written to the Senate President and to the Speaker of the House, warning that those comments, even if not meant literally, could be taken literally and risked further inflaming social tensions amid rising terror threat levels. Joining me now is National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, thanks for coming on the program. What I'm curious about is why would Susan Lee need to write a letter? Shouldn't the Leader of the House and the Senate President automatically launch an investigation after hearing that, just as we all heard it?
Look, you would hope so, but it seems like the Labor Party is intent here, James, on whitewashing this incident. They're downplaying it. And look, I think this is in a different ballpark than other outbursts we've seen from Senator Thorpe. Previously, she's disrupted official proceedings, made a bit of a loud of herself on the streets of Melbourne. All things that are not desirable, but I've sort of parked them in the category of, well, the voters will have their say. But this is a call to conduct a violent act. And I know Senator Thorpe is now saying, I didn't mean it literally, but that's not what she said at the time. And this has to be taken much more seriously than the government is doing. The last time an MP was expelled from the Parliament was in 1920. That MP simply said that he referred to the British Empire as this bloody and accursed empire, and he was expelled for disloyalty and sedition. Now, I don't know if we want to go exactly there yet, but there has to be steps down this path. There has to be serious sanctions here for any MP that is suggesting somehow the Parliament should be burnt down, or there should be any kind of violence towards our parliamentary democracy. If you're a member of that representative democracy, you shouldn't be able to get away with saying that should no longer exist.
I would have thought so, and we'll watch eagerly to see what takes place, if anything, in that situation. I want to ask you about One Nation leader Pauline Hanson's call for the PM to send Gazan asylum seekers home now that the fighting has ended, and to cancel the temporary visas that have been issued to about 786 Palestinians still to arrive from Gaza. Do you agree with Senator Hanson's call?
Well, there's no way we should be taking more people from Gaza now that the conflict is over. We never should have taken them in this way in the first place. That's the point myself and my colleagues have been making ever since this ridiculously hasty decision was taken. We have proper processes that need to go through, of course, before anyone arrives in this country. Those processes have to be very strict for people coming from a war-torn environment. And my understanding was that there was no ability to do those assessments in person, on the ground, in the Middle East, before people arrived here. And that, to my mind, is a completely unacceptable risk to the Australian people, that we could only do those assessments after they arrived. Now, in terms of this is the problem with Senator Hanson's suggestion here, and it's an understandable one, but like a lot of times from One Nation, it's not particularly practical. Once they're here, of course, it's going to be pretty much impossible to send these people back to Gaza. There's no logistical way to do that right now. Maybe one day that can happen, but it can't happen anytime soon, which goes to the point. The point here should not be accepting them in the first place, because if they come here, we find out there's an issue, we're pretty much in a very bad place.
And that's the thing that I think annoys most Australians. We hear the phrase temporary visa, and we all know temporary means anything but temporary. We've just got about a minute left, but I wanted to ask you about the Victorian Police Commissioner saying that the pro-Palestine protests had taken up more than 25,000 police shifts over the past 2 years. And he says that because police have been rostered to oversee the protests, that's meant there's more crime in Victoria, without doubt, than there otherwise would have been. How do we stop these protests? 2 years, there's now a peace deal. What's the solution here, Matt?
Well, there needs to be regulation of that. There's regulation of how and when you can protest around our parliament. There should be the same around the country. We should allow protests, but it needs to be reasonable, and this is clearly unreasonable. I've seen the Premier of Victoria out there today saying Melbourne is safe. It's like she's Baghdad Bob, you know, she's Jolly Montes Jacinta, while crime is out of control behind her, trying to say that everything is good and fine. That is a bigger problem, I think, than these protests. You've got a Premier down there who just doesn't seem to know what the problems are, let alone have a solution to them.